My name is Livia Gazzolo, and for my Capstone project, I decided to create an event plan for the Land of Roses. As I mentioned, my name is Livia Gazzolo. My primary instrument is voice. I am the founder and director of Gazzolo Productions, a company focused on the creation of cross-cultural immersive performance pieces featuring live music in front of silent films. I'm also the co-founder of the Land of Roses art residency and have been a professional performing and recording musician, songwriter, and event producer for nearly 10 years. Kind of a core mission of mine is exploring the connectivity of cultures through music, film, and art. For this project, I decided to create an event plan for the Land of Roses, an educational, nature-based residency inviting families to Southwest Michigan from Guangzhou, China, to take part in a host of artistic and theatrical workshops, culminating in the creation of The Spell of Wonder, an ambient silent film and immersive performance pairing the film with a live original score, choreography, shadow puppetry, and more at a local theater called The Vickers. The program also includes accommodation, food, and transportation. Our goal is to explore the importance of maintaining a sense of childlike wonder and ingenuity while stepping into the unknown and shaping our identities in the world. Within the event plan, I included the residency's theme, focus, and inspiration, a description of the final show entitled The Spell of Wonder, a list of artists and independent contractors and their respective roles within the program, a documentation plan, a marketing plan for the residency and for the final show, a list of materials and procurement plan for those materials, a breakdown of the registration process, including registration forms within the Google Doc that once cleared by a lawyer, I will then put into Jot forms so that they're fillable. A list of operations, liability and legal plans, including contracts that also, once cleared by a lawyer, I'll put into DocHub so that independent contractors can sign them electronically. A detailed budget, contingency plans, a communication and emergency plan, a schedule of the day-to-day, including educational and artistic goals of the workshops, and then a timeline of outstanding deliverables and other items and deadlines to keep me on track for the development of the program. Now, creating this plan has given me an opportunity to break down everything that goes into establishing an international artist residency and the various approaches you can take. This has always been a dream of mine. It has also allowed me the time and space to make a plan for the creation of a proof of concept for the final show, The Spell of Wonder. This has multiple connections to my final goals. Firstly, documenting this performance will give me material to use for the promotion of my released music. It also speaks to my core mission of connecting cultures through art, music, and film. Furthermore, I will be able to use this proof of concept to pitch to venues, museums, and festivals internationally so we can go on tour. This will establish Gazzolo Productions at the forefront of cross-cultural immersive performance art. Here I highlighted courses that were helpful in the development of my event plan, as well as some that have and will influence the actual program and performance piece. So first we have project management, which helped me organize the entire event plan and figure out everything that needed to go into it. Music business law for artists helped as I coordinated with independent contractors, booked venues, booked the hotel, wrote contracts and registration forms, created an LLC, and more. The art of performing and engaging an audience for singers will help in my performance of the final show, and also as I lead workshops centered around how to engage an audience and convey emotion. Introduction to music therapy will help as I use music and performance art to explore somatic healing through my music-based workshops. And then harmony, composition, songwriting, ear training, etc. will help as I arrange music and integrate original pieces into the score of the live performance. Music video production and dissemination will help as I direct and edit the ambient silent film entitled The Spell of Wonder. And then vocal styles from around the world and also Middle Eastern musical styles will help as I integrate music from around the world into the score of the live performance. Now for the project, I worked with my business partner, Sherry Wang, to distill our mission and vision for the program and performance, and to put together a detailed schedule of the day-to-day with all of the workshops and their intended educational and artistic goals. We also talked through contingency plans together. Zachary Sun, our puppeteer, mask maker, set and costume designer, etc., helped further our vision, giving lists of necessary materials which helped create a more realistic budget. For the creation of the event plan, I needed a Wix account and existing website, which I have, a Google account to create the project and presentation, and then a Pinterest to find images for the mood boards that you will see soon. I also wanted to share some inspiration behind the program itself. We will likely include some of these books and films in the list provided for registered families to watch and read in preparation for the program. So we have Hans Christian Andersen, who wrote The Little Mermaid and a host of other amazing stories. Elsa Beskow, a Swedish children's story writer who wrote The Children of the Forest, about little tiny people who live in the forest and wear mushrooms as hats. The Little Black Fish, which is a Persian children's story. The Little Prince, Alice in Wonderland. Nasruddin Hoja, which is a Kurdish-Turkish folk tale character. And then for films, there's The Color of Pomegranates, which is visual poetry by an Armenian director. The Fabulous Baron Munchausen and Daisies are both Czech films. And then Georges Méliès was a prolific French director from the early 1900s, creating silent films. I did not need a budget for the creation of the event plan, since there were no expenses, but I included some numbers showing the final budget and pricing of the program itself. The total expenses, including a 50% profit margin, came to $82,024.44. Our goal is to enroll 24 people, bringing the minimum cost per person to $3,500. Now I wanted to share a few mood boards that I created showing some of the workshops we will be offering. This first one highlights inspiration for the mask and puppet making workshops led by Zachary Sun. This next one shows a workshop we plan to have at Warren Dunes, exploring self-expression through movement and shadow puppetry on the sand. We will also film a scene inspired by the Little Prince and his compassionate relationship with a rose on his little planet. Here we plan to explore new perspectives in a primeval forest where we will be experimenting with more puppetry and masks created with materials we find in the forest, while playing music and learning more about the natural rhythms of a forest and all of its inhabitants, plants, trees, animals, bugs, fairies, etc. Here I wanted to show inspiration for the set design of the final show, The Spell of Wonder, with very dramatically draped fabrics, creating a sort of dreamscape, immersive dreamscape. Here are examples of the projections and shadow puppetry we will be using and experimenting with in that final performance. And then here are some inspiration for the costume design, inspired by some of the films listed earlier. In conclusion, the most difficult part of this project was adjusting the plan as various potential issues were brought to light by Sherry, my business partner in China. She pointed out that a number of people who had initially expressed interest in our program are currently worried about traveling to the US since they view it as an increasingly dangerous place, and are also worried about issues arising with their visas given Trump's current immigration measures. So we created a few contingency plans outlined within the event plan. First, we made an alternate budget for a smaller group, 4 families, 12 people, and checked with the hotel on whether we could adjust the reservation. They confirmed that we could do so without penalty within a certain time frame, also outlined within the event plan. Alternatively, if we are unable to enroll any families this year, we could have the contracted artists stay at the hotel and focus on the production of the film and show The Spell of Wonder. In this case, I would create a pitch deck from the event plan to present to sponsors or investors, aiming to cover accommodation and program costs for the development of the show. We would then document the residency and use it as proof of concept and promotional material for next year. I also ended up running out of time and was unable to complete the web page, which I was going to use Wix for, as originally planned, but I laid out my plan for completion. Creating contracts was also new territory for me and fairly intimidating. That said, I figured it out and just needed to double check that I covered all our bases with a lawyer. It was somewhat tricky to come up with realistic quotes for transportation and food without booking or buying. But after some research, I think my numbers are fairly close. And then for the presentation, my main issue was consolidating all the information into a succinct, digestible presentation. I also had some trouble focusing on the event plan rather than on the program itself. I ended up referencing the program a bit, as you can see, but tried to stay on track and did my best. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Professor Wheeler, for a wonderful class. I've learned so much, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity to do those more uncomfortable technical things that are necessary in the development of any creative project, any project in general. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.